without our industry standing out. So look at the music industry, for example. You have Wizkid, Davido, they will stand out.
Go back to the beginning, which is the way of life as you started.
Whatever it is that you are thinking in your head, it will remain in your head if you don't put it out.
You haven't eaten? Okay, so, alright then. So let me make this as quick as possible.
It's called Film Lab Africa. It's not unfamiliar to the sector because we launched it properly, and then when the films were ready, we did a private premiere at one of the...
This is the biggest film festival all over Africa.
Without our industry standing out. So look at the music industry, for example. You have Wizkid, Davido, they will stand out. But the structure in itself, the place where these people are from, there is a problem. So that is what has formed that experience in school, that play in school. And then, so the end of year says he died. He died fighting the system. And Prof told me, he called me to his office then. He said, Debo, I wrote this play for you. Because then I was president of the Students Association and I was fighting the management of the university. So he said, I wrote this play for you. You cannot fight them. And I said, no, Prof. That it has always been does not mean it must continue to be. We need to ask ourselves questions. We need to look at ourselves inwardly. Why? And I always say it. I do not blame the government all the time because the government is a product of society. So it is embedded in us. What can you get done without doing like this? Even in the industry, how do we treat the cast, the crew? How do we treat those that we think are not superstars? It starts with us. So that is why I continue. I mean, it's beautiful. Ogami, Fumilayo and Some Kuti. That's a beautiful film celebrating Fumilayo and Some Kuti. Yes, Fumilayo has done a lot of works, and Nicola Kwako celebrating our culture. I'm not saying it's bad. Please don't get me wrong. I love the culture. We must continue to promote it. But while promoting our culture, we must be true to it. Because at the end of the day, it is the society and how we portray the truth, how we tell the truth, that will heal us together. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, I've said this a lot of times. For budding artists, upcoming talents, trying to get into the industry, you have to just take the first step, which is to start. The challenge is most people don't want to start. They feel it's embarrassing, or what will my friends say? I want to mumu myself. Whatever it is that you are thinking in your head, it will remain in your head if you don't put it out, if you don't try it, if you don't do something. So you can try it and build on it, and adjust it and remix it, but start first. So that's the first step. So that's always my advice. Start, and don't stick to just one thing. If you're trying one thing and it's not working, even if that's the thing you really love, try other things. Continue to try different things. I tried so many characters, before I found Tiwa. And the moment I found Tiwa, I saw that everyone loved Tiwa, and I started to intentionally create content around Tiwa. Can I do other things? Absolutely yes. Am I doing them? Absolutely yes. But people are able to accept what I do now because there's a name behind the brand already, and it's a brand they trust, and they say, oh, I love him. Oh, I have an audience that is enjoying what I do. And also bear in mind, not everybody would like you. Not everybody would love what you do, which is fine. That's art. You will like this actor. You might say, that other actor, I don't really like him. You like this musician? Oh, that other musician. So don't focus on those that have terrible things to say. You can pick one or two things if they are constructive, but focus on the good things that you're doing, the ones that are getting the commendations, and build on it. If you don't start, you will never know.
If you don't know your culture, then you're lost completely. And one of the things that I try to tell, I mean, we were on our own. I don't want to argue with my brother on the need to tell stories, even when things look dark, you know. But when you tell the stories that gives light into your life, especially from the cultural perspective, I can tell you about the story of a fisherman who went out to fish. In search of fish, his canoe capsized with 2 other persons. They were looking for them. They came on, 2 died. They didn't see the 3rd one, who was the owner of the boat. And for like a week, they saw him swim out of the river. How? But he met the spirits underneath the seas. He had conversations with the spirits. And when he came, he had powers. With one rule, don't tell anyone about those powers. Now you go say Aquaman, now your head go clear. They go do Wakanda, put small things inside. Then when you do your own juju. Now the thing is, when they tell the story, now there are 2 notes to singing the African folk songs. It's treble and alto. Even when you're singing bass or tenor, it's still alto, right? And that's why the South African melodies adjust. But have you heard the melodies from my area, Okitipupa? No, so we are working on a project, and it's called the working title, Tide of the Water Spirits. And now you can see that the serenity of that part of the spirit world, when they sing those songs, when they tickle your fancy, when they build your hope, it's not just about juju and anything. Because if you check it, the southwest people of Nigeria, they have Oyedepo, Adefarasi, Adeboye, Papa, help me. They never, when preaching the word of God, castigate the Yoruba culture. They don't. But our rather exuberant people, the other side, you know, with their pious and the hypocritical nature of understanding of God, one with God is majority anyway. So once you understand, once you know, like I said, you become responsible for your knowledge. So while it is a catalyst, the idea for me is to tell the stories of our people from the mythological point of view. Things that are alien to people, but are very, very good to the understanding of our people. So cinema is that pathway. And trust me, after now, when I go blow with our stories, you go complain. Because whatever, he said it, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads unto fortune, omitted. All the voyages of your life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a sea are we now afloat. Take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. Me, I'm not going to lose my venture. I will tell our stories from it.
Wow.
So I also believe when you're storytelling, you tell your reality, your authenticity. And this also covers a little bit about what we discussed earlier, which happened in India and happens in Africa as well, in the trajectory of how India is portrayed. Back in the day, a lot of it was poverty and the roadside and, things like that. And in Africa, sometimes it's the animals and, there's just stereotypes. So when I made Namaste Wahala, it was also important to make sure I showed my reality of Lagos. I love Lagos. I love living here. I wanted to show the beautiful beaches, the beautiful restaurants. So it was important to do that, number one. Number two, it was also very important that my protagonist was a female. And again, I'm in Nigeria. A women empowerment, the women had to be Nigerian. It was actually non-negotiable for me on that one. So those were really the two reasons. And then as and how we move forward, I needed, of course, like I said, I did the escapism when we had the dancing around trees and the love. But as and how we were writing the story, I needed the woman to portray herself the way she is. Because for me over here, I think Nigerian women are some of the strongest women I know. I love that in our industry, and it's not the same actually in India, because when we did postcards and I flew our team to India, the majority of my crew were male, whereas I find here in Nigeria, the majority of leaders even in the film industry are women. So I really wanted to celebrate that both on screen as well as behind the scenes.
Give them reasons to come, reasons to stay, reasons to start the program, reasons to finish. We just finished a film lab cohort, 60 people, and I only had one dropout, which is a really big deal. Yeah, that's a really big deal. We ended up having 59 people do the thing for 12 weeks where they were in class for 7-8 hours online. So there's a thoughtfulness around it to ensure that, even when you're coming into the class, you're engaged. And post the class, you're engaged as well. And all of this happened because the one thing technology does is also to give you capacity to reach more people. And we didn't want a situation where the filmmakers only came from Lagos and Abuja. You understand? And I'm really, really proud. We had filmmakers from Jos, we had people from Kaduna, and these films are now traveling the world. You understand? So technology really, really does a lot.
I don't think AI is here to take our jobs as creative. I do work for a tech company, but I'll say I'm 100% on the side of the creative. My background is in the creative industry before I got here. We don't think AI is not here to take the jobs. I would say AI is here to make the process more productive and efficiency, like you mentioned, right? Give the example of a tool like Gemini, right? Or ChatGPT, but I'll say use Gemini. Yeah, exactly. A tool like Gemini, for example, right? It's the important skill you need to learn using tools like that is your prompt engineering. How are you communicating with that particular tool to support your own productivity, right? I'll give an example over the weekend. There was a research work that I needed to review, a very long research, and there's something on Wednesday that I need to now make pointers about this. I literally uploaded that document in Gen AI, and I gave it an instruction: summarize this, give me the key points, what do I need to know, right? It's going to respond, giving me something. Okay, if it's not good enough, I can always talk to it and say, okay, do you know what? Why don't you give me more about this? So generative AI is not here to take our jobs. I don't believe it's here to take our jobs, but if anything, it's here to support the workflows, productivity, right? You can collaborate around, even if it's script writing, right? How do you shorten those work processes? Something that could have taken you maybe 3 hours, right? How do you make that shorter, right? So there are other tools as well, right? I mean, ChatGPT, yes, is another tool as well. There's different other tools that you can learn from. So I think as creatives, we shouldn't have a mindset of being antagonistic or being against these tools, because, guys, they're here to stay, right? Internet came, when internet came again, there was a whole, I don't know, about that not being great. There was the time of the mobile phones. This is happening already. 5G, thank you. Another thing again is look at the speed at which these tools are also learning, right? And I think, I'm sorry if I'm going all over the place, but something I think education should not even feed into this is how do we now even improve our curriculums to support AI skills, right? I think that is where there's a gap. So even, because what I do really is looking for partners in the industry, and how do we support them to train the ecosystem. Brenda does a lot more heavy lifting, creating a whole platform. We're just looking for the best guys in the industry. How do we support you guys?
And what's my basic inspiration for being here? this is the biggest film festival all over Africa, and probably one of the biggest in the world as well, but the biggest in Africa. And this is an opportunity where annually all the stakeholders in the film industry will come together, to showcase our works, to network, to party, to have a good time. It's been a very, very long year, and it's a time for us to kick back and unwind and also celebrate each other. So I'm an Afriff boy, basically. I've been attending since 2017, every single Afriff since 2017, and this is non-different. We have exciting films being showcased and being screened, good works that a lot of people have done. So I'm here to celebrate my peers, I'm here to celebrate my colleagues, to celebrate the whole industry, because Africa is evolving when it comes to films. We are evolving very, very quickly. So this is an opportunity to come, see what people have done, enjoy the works, meet people, network. So yes, that's why I'm here. I am an actor, of course, which you all know, but I just want to mingle, play in my industry. So this is like our own annual party.
I'm going to talk to you guys about his career, what he's been up to, Manzar, and why Africa, and the future. Then we're going to open it up to the floor for you guys to ask questions.
I mean, when I was 9, I got involved in a school play. In school, I wasn't really good at a lot of things. I was one of those late bloomers. I was very small, very short, and I wasn't good at sports. I wasn't as smart as the best academics. I wasn't as nerdy as the nerds, so I always felt out of place. But one time I did a monologue, and that's where I found, like, wow, this is one thing that I'm good at. I think I know how to act. And then I went to my parents and told them that I think I found the best career that you could ever imagine for your child. And my dad was just like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Lawyer. I said, Dad, nah, I want to be an actor. And at the time, Mum and Dad's understanding of acting was babasue, drama. That's what they were calling it. But despite that, they were very, very supportive. And they took me to my first auditions. And then I just started getting more and more involved in the art and working for free, just to know the discipline and the training that was required. One thing led to another, then I met a guy called Femi Oguns, who basically founded the first black drama school in London. I'm sure, Femi, he's not here, but love to you, bro. And I'm sure you've heard about a few people that have come from there, Michaela Cole, Damson Idris, a few people that have come from that school. And it was just training back to back. It wasn't all this glitz and glamour and celebrity social media following nonsense. It was real acting. How can you play a part? It was accent, character arcs, all of those things that are educational for an actor's success. And we learned, and it was stressful in that class, I can't lie.
Yeah, no, talk to them about that class, because in your class there was Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright was there, yeah.
Who else was there?
Toby Bakary, Malachi Kirby.
Malachi Kirby,
yeah.
That's a strong class. That's like a purple patch for...
It was a strong class, I can't lie.
Was it competitive?
Yes, absolutely it was competitive, because entertainment is a competitive game, I'm sure, as you guys know, wherever it is. But it's about teaching you how to embrace that competition, to be honest with you, and how to embrace the unique kind of hustle that's required for acting and anything in the entertainment arts.
And was there back then, what was talk to them about one of your key challenges at that time, when you were breaking into the industry, going to drama school.
Okay, money.
You were challenged with money.
I was challenged with money. I remember when Idris Elba, at the time, he had already established himself, and he had told Femi that he wanted me to be a part of a read-through for this short film that he was doing. I said, wow, Idris Elba called me to come and be part of the short film. Let me just go and do it. I woke up 7 a.m. in the morning, 1 hour to get ready, got downstairs, and my car was towed. Oh. So I was like, and I had put, I had put all of the money from my account to just get the most gas. So I didn't even have extra to pay for travel. And Samson and Abigail Adiboyega, if you're asking them for money, you have to give them time. So I knew that I had to list. Yeah, you have to give them a list. Present yourself with respect. You know how that goes. And so I ended up being kind of held back by no financial backing. And it paused me for a bit. It did shake me for a bit, because having money makes money is the general rule, right? But then I realized, I said, well, actually, that's a general rule for the ones that are willing to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it. I want this dream bad enough. So I walked. I walked. I made sacrifices, like small sacrifices like that, to make sure I was present for any opportunity that could potentially come my way. Even though, to be honest with you, I didn't know if there would be a possibility of an opportunity. But I guess we've all accepted that joining entertainment, you know.
So would you say Attack the Block, the character there, was that the film that kind of...
Well, yeah, well, it's the film that, in our game, you want to do the film that gets you the important meetings, that gets you in the room with people who are kind of like on a level where they can assist you and help you and push you in a way to improve your art. So Attack the Block ended up getting me some good meetings, and there were some certain things that I couldn't control. So one of these meetings was at a company called Bad Robot, who is a company that's owned by a man called J.J. Abrams. Who knows J.J. Abrams in this building? That's a big boy. Obviously, my first meeting wasn't with J.J. directly. It was from a guy called Brian Burke, who was his producing partner at the time. And I'm in the lobby, and I'm just sat there. And as I'm sat there waiting to be called up to my meeting, I hear this very familiar voice, and the voice was just like, "Oh my God, dude, I love you in Attack the Block." I turn around, and it's Tom Cruise. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, it's Tom Cruise. And funny enough, another Nigerian actor was there at the time, Dayo Oye. We'll solve the name later. But Dayo was there too, yes. And so Tom Cruise came out with J.J. Abrams. They were editing Mission Impossible at the time. And Tom Cruise said to J.J. Abrams, he said, "I don't know whether it's now or later, but you need to get this kid in something." And then JJ looked at me like this and he goes, "Yeah, cool." And in the Hollywood game, they do that a lot. They say, "Oh, we're gonna get you in a movie." They will pepper you to the point where you'll be like, "I have millions in my account." And then you won't hear anything back. So I didn't really take it seriously. I was proud to meet these incredible actors. I had asked them questions, you know, how do I do this? And how do I hustle? What do I need to do to be a better actor? And I got some good answers. I took my meeting, I left. I never heard anything after that for another 6 years. 6 years. After 6 years, one morning I was on the train actually going to pay a light bill. My mom sent me to go and pay the light bill. You know, at the time when the meter runs out, you have to go on the road to go and pay the light bill. That's how it works in the UK. So I'm on the train going through, and then Femi calls my phone. And then Femi goes, "Yeah, mate, are you sitting down, mate?" I go, "Yeah, mate, I'm sitting down, I'm on the train." He goes, "Well, I've got the audition that maybe could change everything, mate, but it's gonna be a hard one. This is gonna be the hardest audition process you've ever gone through." I said, "What's the project? What's the project?" And Femi likes to be dramatic. He paused. And he went, "Star Wars, mate." I said, "What, they auditioning Negroes for Star Wars?" I said, "What?" I said, "There ain't no way." I said, is it a leading role, whatever it is? And you know, Femi, he goes, "You get it, mate. You're number 1 to 3 on the call sheet, mate." I go, all right, let's start the process and start auditioning. And so it kick-started 9 months of auditioning for Star Wars. Over 16 auditions, 4 screen tests, and a whole bunch of stress. It was a very interesting time. But sometimes if you don't say it, what you're secretly thinking in your head is never gonna happen. Sometimes when you say it, your body hears you saying it, and you challenge yourself, and you're like, "Wow, I just said that out loud." And I said, "You know what, I wanna be a movie star, and I do wanna be part of the biggest franchise in history. And I do wanna be the first black stormtrooper. I do wanna be at the lead and the forefront of this." And so I decided to put all my eggs in Star Wars. And then the other 2 films said, "Sorry, no can do." Now we're just waiting for Disney. Disney calls, Kathy Kennedy goes, "Okay, cool, we're gonna audition you one last time. One last time. Come to Pinewood Studios, come and audition." I go to Pinewood Studios, I'm in the chair. You know how it is in the audition room. I was just shaking, I was doing the warm-ups, getting myself prepared. I go in the room, and it's me and Oscar doing the shooting scene. And we do the scene, JJ loves it, but in my heart, I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm probably not gonna get it, but if it's a loss, then at least I've seen myself try. I've seen myself fight for what I want, and I know I'm serious now. So the next opportunity, if it's not this one, there will be a next one. But I'm in the game now. I'm willing to be broke. I'm willing to suffer for this. And that's what I found in the process, and that was all I was willing to take away. JJ calls after the half of Yellow Sun premiere, we had the half of Yellow Sun premiere. The day after, JJ Abrams messages my phone and he goes, I'm in Mayfair. Can you get down to Mayfair and have a meeting with me? I said, sure. By the way, at the time I had £74 and 95 pence. I'll never forget the price. And I was coming from Croydon at the time. I had this young babe. I was seeing my girlfriend at the time. I had to rub my back because I'm stressing. and then the message came through. I said, baby, I have to go. I have to go to JJ. I left her. I went over to JJ Abrams in a restaurant. And when I went to the restaurant, this restaurant is very well known. The whole restaurant was empty. I was just like, it's like 3 p.m. What's going on in this restaurant? I walk over to JJ Abrams. He sits me down and he goes, you know, John, first of all, I want to just thank you for all you've done. I know you've been auditioning for a long time. And you know when people speak to you like that, you're just like, just tell me I didn't get it. And say, God bless you that you decided to feed me before giving me the news. So he goes, John, you know, it's been incredible. And then I use that as an opportunity to pitch myself. I go, okay, JJ, I need to tell you, I can audition again. He goes, John. I go, no, I can audition again. He goes, John, calm down. No, I said, no, if you let me, he goes, John, you're the new star of Star Wars.
Yeah, for the upcoming actors, I mean, it's really about working hard. I mean, we've just heard a wonderful interview with John Boyega, who talks about the whole process of getting into the work, working as hard as you can, developing character, understanding script, all of those sort of things. So, you know, being an actor is not just about trying to be famous, it really is about doing hard work. So all those young actors and actresses coming up, really work on your craft, that's what I say. Yes, exactly, and I think that goes, you know, this business is a hard business, so you know you should be into it. You should be as dedicated as you can to reach the heights that you can possibly reach. So again, the advice to those young actors coming up is be dedicated. Really care about your work. I mean, it's like training to be a doctor. You know, you're not going to just look at a patient and say, I can fix this. It takes years of hard work, and you're always learning. I'm always learning. I'm still learning. I still want to be better at what I do. So yeah, it's very important.
Without our industry standing out. So look at the music industry, for example. You have Wizkid, Davido, they will stand out.
Go back to the beginning, you know, which is the way of life as you started.
Whatever it is that you are thinking in your head, it will remain in your head if you don't put it out.
Yummy eaten. Okay, so, all right then. So let me make this as quick as possible.
It's called Film Lab Africa. It's not unfamiliar to the sector because we launched it properly, and then when the films were ready, we did a private premiere at one of them.
This is the biggest film festival all over Africa.
We sure hope you enjoyed this video. For more entertaining video content such as behind the scenes of music videos and movies, music concerts, premieres, interviews, and exclusive gists, subscribe now to our YouTube channel GoldmyneTV and be unleashed into a world of super excitement.